wasn't easy, but Ted's amenable. Ted's cool.
Yeah, it just needs the motivation.
Now, the moment we've all been waiting for. And it's coming right up. You're going to hear a roar of the crowd, and believe me, you will never, ever forget it. Are you ready? Count it down. Ready? Okay, here we go now. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11.
All right, everybody, let's get on it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5,
Well, the American Comedy Network at that time was pretty hot. It was on about 200. It was in over 200 markets. It might have been 300 markets.
Yeah.
And Bob and Zip were doing a lot of the parody songs.
Oh, were they?
Yes, tons of them, including the one Bob played on the show, which was to "I'm Just a Gigolo, I'm Just a Biggie Go." And the video, although it was made very cheaply, I'm trying to remember what beach. I think it was a beach. What did he say? Saugus? Does Saugus have a beach? Saugus isn't on the water.
Saugus. What is
In
it?
Massachusetts.
Connecticut
It was
or-
one of those.
Probably on the Atlantic.
Massachusetts. It was one of those Boston beaches where a lot of regular people go, and he just told people to show up, and they made a video. It was pretty funny, but anyway, there were a lot of stories that somehow connected Bob and Zip and I, because Bob and I both worked with Zip, and then there was networking going on for years. And anyway, I was so glad to see Bob make the Hall of Fame. But my original point was, when this first came up that Bob was nominated, all three of us were looking at the list, and Charles Laquadera was on there from WBCN.
Yeah, I remember him.
And Charles was dominating all of us. Charles was doing monster shares. BCN
ruled.
They owned Boston. It was a great station.
It's a great station.
You know, if somebody today, Ted isn't on hold, is he?
Oh.
What?
It's not going through this phone because of the private.
What?
What?
I mean,
I'm not sure what's happening. What just happened?
I think
got
our
the phone
phone
number.
has a private blocker. Do you know about that, Mark?
No, not at all. It doesn't make any sense.
okay.
because one phone's ringing and the other one's not.
I would just answer a phone if it's ringing, if it could be Ted Nugent. That would be my solution. And maybe he has to call from another phone, if that's the only way to get him up on the air. If I have to think on my feet here, that would be, those would be my answers.
Well, no, I'm just trying to let you know that I couldn't get it through the board.
Right. Yeah. Well, I guess in that case, he would have to call from another phone.
So should
That
I?
isn't so private.
Okay. I don't know if she's on location with him, but I'll see if she can maybe just hand him her phone.
Did you talk to him on the other phone?
No. Sorry.
No, it's
I
okay.
think we had this happen before with him.
With Tedley?
Yeah.
Whoa, the last time?
Oh.
This sounds vaguely
Yeah,
familiar.
I do have a sense of deja vu. Anyway, Charles Laquadera, just to kill some time, Charles and BCN were so good. It was, to me, there's two stations I think I really admire more than any other. WBCN in Boston was fantastic. The Loop in Chicago was incredible. It was more personal to me being from Chicago. And I loved those shows probably as much as any. What's his name? Jonathan Brandmeier, Kevin Matthews, Steve Dahl, and Gary Meyer in the afternoon, and some other shenanigans. It was a great station. But Bob and I were sort of convinced that, well, how can Charles Laquadera not be in there? He was beating the shit out of us on BCN. He was there for 28 years or something. He went to ZLX, the classic rock station. Anyway, he didn't make it. So, you know, I'm looking at this like the publisher of Radio Inc. makes it. Bob makes it, which was most important to me. John DeBella, by the way, I'm talking to myself right now. The entire show seems to be activated in trying to somehow get Ted Nugent to call a certain phone with another phone. I'll have an update shortly. Anyway, Bob made it, and Bob should have made it the first two times he was nominated because he's the premier parody songwriter in all of radio by a mile. Al Yankovic raved about Bob's parodies, and I'm trying to get Bob to make a list so I can find out which ones of his we don't have, because we played so many of the best ones, including, we haven't played the Yellow Submarine one, have we?
No.
Well, we can play it now because he made the Hall of Fame.
Oh, excellent.
Can't come out.
Hey, Ted's ready for our call. He gave me the number to call
cool.
out to him. So.
Okay. Yeah, is that what we did last time? We just called him.
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
How come it took
When
three
things fall
people to
apart.
do that? I'm just curious.
I don't know. Technology and stuff.
That was weird. It's crazy.
Yowza.
Is Ted there?
This is Ted full time. Is this Drew?
No way. Is that Ted?
Yeah, you got him, boy.
Ted, how you doing, man?
You might have a hotline, but you're on the real hotline now, sir. So it's Drew, Mark, Trudy, and Brandon. Is that right?
You got it.
Yes, absolutely. And Ted, I was just going through because you are alleging that this is Adios Mofo, that this is the end, which I have to ask you very sincerely. I'll wait a minute. I'll let you collect yourself before I ask you if this is really the last tour. But I was having so much fun.
Believe me, I collected myself a long time ago. Go for it.
Well, I was just having so much fun going through Setlist FM and looking at all these venues you played back in the day, like, let's see, the Dome in Allendale, Michigan, Center Stage in Canton, IMA Sports Arena in Flint.
What about the Mump at the Northland Mall? Come on, let's get down to the east, the Crow's Nest East, the Crow's Nest West, the Crow's Nest North, the Crow's Nest South, the Hullabaloo, the Fifth Dimension, the Shindig. Come on, you think you're going to remember me?
No, I knew I couldn't, because your Setlist FM starts in '74, so I knew there was a lot of great stuff I was missing. Like, where did the Amboy Dukes play?
Well, I started the Amboy Dukes in June of '65 when my dad got transferred to Chicago. And my band, the Lures, my God, we played the VFWs and the Elks Lodges and high schools. In fact, I played Marilyn McMillan's 12th birthday on Westmoreland Avenue in Rosedale Park. I swear to God, Marilyn McMillan, 12 years old, I played the guitar, played Boogie Woogie and Honky Tonk, and I really sucked, but they thought I was great.
Oh, that's great. Now, I was 1 year, I think it's '77, in the middle of, you had multiple nights at Cobo Arena, which was very rare at that time. I mean, you were so hot. But somewhere in the middle of your just smoking hot period, you played the main act in Roseville. And I'm like, what's the main act in Roseville? I don't even know what that is. Does that ring a bell?
Well, everybody, I have these backstage campfires every night. I hang out with just the coolest people in the world, which, by the way, Drew, Mark, Trudy, and Brandon, you guys hanging out with Ted Nugent right now, you qualify as the coolest people in the world.
Hey, Ted.
I feel cool as hell.
Everybody always asks me, and I'm sure, Drew, you've asked me this many times. I remember Mike asked me this when I was in the studio with you guys. What's my favorite place to play?
Amen.
And my answer is always, where do you got some electricity? That's where I like to play.
Do you remember
my favorite place to play is any place with electricity. That's my favorite place.
Do you recall the main act? Does that ring a bell?
Yeah, absolutely. That was with Dave Caswini and Derek St. Holmes and Carmine Appice. We recorded the video of the then Nugent album. And, yeah, it was a ride. Come on, guys. You know that I've had more fun than anybody in the history of music. And here it is, Clusterfuck 23, and I'm having more fun than ever.
Chrysler Arena. I didn't know you'd played. I didn't know you had made the Michigan students unsafe by playing Chrysler Arena. That was in 1980.
Like I said, tonight when I get on stage in New Jersey, it will literally be my 6,906th rock out. Wow. And I counted all the way back to Marilyn McMillan's birthday. All the sock hops, the pool parties. When I get on stage and play for the military, for the Marines, when flag draped coffins come home, I'm invited to play the national anthem and play the Fred Bear song and these most powerful, emotional, humanitarian celebrations. And so I've counted all of them, and it's 6,906 tonight. Jeez, and it's unbelievable because I'm old. I'm 75 years old. I'm really old, but I'm having so much fun. It's stupid. Tonight will be the most important concert of my life. Last night was the most important concert of my life. Tomorrow night will be the most important concert of my life. But tonight is the most important concert of my life. I'm just a lucky guitar slamming son of a bitch, and you know it.
I do know it, and that's why your shows are great, because the next one is the most important one. The raves from the night before don't matter anymore. But I want to go back to May 8th, 1976. Your first, you headlined the Pontiac Silverdome.
Wow. Whoa.
Yeah, that was with the Cars in Foghat. That was how about this? That was the first concert, that was the first performance that my dad had ever been to.
What?
And Nick Karras and Dave Leone of DMA Management presented me with a beautiful Browning 9mm commemorative pistol. And my family was there, and my dad still thought I was throwing my guitar and amp in the back of the Chevy Biscayne. And he saw all those people foaming at the mouth, dancing like animals, and he goes, "That's very impressive, son."
That's hilarious. Ted, did he enjoy the concert? Did he enjoy the music?
Well, yeah. Again, we've talked about this. I mean, I'm a killer guitar player, and I write songs, and I make records, and I do tours. but I'm just a music craver. I'm like you guys. I love music. Music is the
Amen.
soundtrack to our most important moments in life, the good, the bad, the ugly, mostly the good. And so I was a maniac for Chuck Berry and Bo Diddley, Little Richard, and all those creators of this unbelievable soundtrack. So I wasn't satisfied just listening to it. I wanted to kind of unleash my own musical ideas and dreams and fantasies. So I started playing guitar with Joe Podorczyk at the Capitol School of Music on Grand River, which, by the way, so was come on. Yeah, the MC5. Wayne Kramer also took lessons from Joe Podorczyk at the Capitol School of Music. So I didn't know Wayne back then, but we were all taught by Joe Podorczyk, God rest his soul, who got on stage with me at Pine Knob for my 6,000th concert, and it was 50 years to the month that he and I played honky tonk and boogie woogie at the Michigan State Fairgrounds. So I remember all this stuff, and it doesn't matter when, how, or under what circumstances. I played a broken guitar on the banks of the Limpopo River in Botswana for two naked Africans one time, and I played the Great White Buffalo Licks, and they wanted to make me king.
Can I ask you about December 28th, 1978, which was also the Pontiac Silverdome? Who was with you?
That was probably with Aerosmith too. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember everything, but again, I'm old, and unfortunately, the FDA thinks they have control over my diet, which they don't. But I remember everything because I've been surrounded by just heart and soul maniac music gods, all my band members, all my crew. Everybody was motivated by the music. Nobody was worried about being a rock star or being a celebrity or being a platinum artist. We just loved the damn music. And so that's contagious to this day. I saw it last night on stage. I'll see it tonight. I see it every night. People love the piss and vinegar. And I didn't invent piss and vinegar, but I perfected it by 1957. So it's real contagious. It's unstoppable. It's something to celebrate, especially in these treacherous times in the world.
Amen.
In 2023, we need sanctuary, we need escape, and nothing provides it so powerfully as music delivered by musicians who are passionate, dedicated, hardworking, and love the music like the audience loves the music.
Ted, last time we talked to you, you had just declared the Stoneham kids that had a shooting down there, and you had called them soulless. And I remember it was one of these things where, cheer, we're going to have Ted on. Of course we're going to have Ted on. Who cares what he just said? And now today, you're coming on the day after Trump is indicted. So it's another crazy day out there. What was you probably expected it like I guess a lot of us did. What are your first thoughts?
Well, back when we did that interview, there really is a soullessness to people who don't care about the value of life. And when a bunch of dumb kids that don't know anything about history, don't know anything about social conditions, don't know anything about the heart and soul of man claim that somehow if you ban a certain weapon, it'll save lives when that weapon is used in under 1% of any crimes anyway. They're not looking at the hundreds of reasons and situations that cause death and injured lives. So why would you look at the 101st cause of death instead of the first 100? And that's what those mushy-brained, soulless punks were doing. He's tried to make a career out of it. But again, my words have iron. They've proven to be true over the years, and I'll tell you some more true words. The reason this deep state criminal, corrupt arm of the Communist Party, Uncle Sam, this freak in the White House, this unknown species that blambles around in the White House that thinks he's the commander-in-chief of the United States of America, they hate Donald Trump so furiously because he spotlighted the criminal, corrupt cockroaches. And the more evil people hate Donald Trump, the more good people support him. Case closed.
Well, I got to tell you, it doesn't seem no matter how many times they indict him, the polling is incredibly close. And it sounds like he could possibly win in 2024. And this morning I'm watching TV and they're saying, well, what if indeed he is convicted of this? Could he still be president? The answer, I think, was yes. I'm like, what?
Again, I think anybody who's paying attention can see that right now Uncle Sam is the biggest crook on the planet. Uncle Sam is anti-constitutional. He's anti-American. Everybody in the government is virtually untrustworthy. I mean, would you take a diet recommendation from the USDA? Well, you start with Lucky Charms every day. I mean, who believes these people? Who trusts the government? Give me somebody who trusts the government. Which, by the way, you know why they call it a whoopee cushion, don't you? Because Whoopi Goldberg is nothing but a nasty, stinky noise. Anyhow, my point being is that the people who are against me and that are against Donald Trump are against hard work. They're against God, family, country, Constitution, Bill of Rights. They're against self-defense. They're for Black Lives Matter rioting and burning down Seattle and Portland and Chicago and New York and Baltimore. That's what the Whoopi Goldberg, Joe Biden, Michael Moore fan club is for. Which, by the way, I'll announce this right now. You want to have some controversy? Here's a little something Sam Kinison might have come up with. I'll tell you. You know that Whoopi Goldberg is actually Michael Moore in blackface, don't you?
No, I did not know that.
Well, now you do.
Is that true? Okay. Yeah, I'm not even going to bring up what they were talking about yesterday on The View.
Now, that's some funny shit. You guys aren't even allowed to laugh.
Everybody was kind of like, what do I do? No, that's not going to cause you any problems, Ted. What is it, Ted? What is it like having so many people angry at you and against you? Because I look at people like you and Trump and some of the people who are really outspoken and never afraid to say what they feel. And I'm amazed at just what it must be like to have such a huge pile of people constantly trying to take you down some way. I mean, it doesn't...
You're terribly mistaken. There's not a huge bunch of people. The vast majority of people, everywhere I go, people are loving. They support me. They thank me for standing up for freedom and life, liberty, and pursuit of individual happiness for God, family, country. Everywhere I go, no one has ever approached me with hate because they're a lunatic fringe. They're soulless people that are against the good things that I stand for. Let's put it in perspective. How many of the people that hate me have been called by families to take their dying young son and daughter on their last wish in life? Because I've done it dozens of times. And you know what? If a family during that traumatic, difficult, emotional time thinks that the old guitar player from Detroit has qualified to take their 6-year-old dying son on his last wish to go hunting, then I must be okay, which means the people that hate me are not okay. Write that down.
The people that hate Ted are... Okay. All right. Got it. I mean, they're really just it's a lot of loud people on social media, on Twitter, but at the same time, I know what it's like to have just a tweet out there that a lot of people piss and moan about. I hate it. I mean, I'm not fetal over it, but if I had as many loud people complaining about me, whether it's just a tiny number in reality or it just, it's 100 people, it just makes a lot of people go fetal. But I'm just amazed the way you stand tall in spite of everything, and it doesn't seem to ever shut down your mouth, ever.
Well, because truth, logic, and common sense is the wind beneath my wings. I mean, I'm a simple man. I pay attention to evidence. I pay attention to good people. I pay attention to positive events, not terrorist, burning down city events. Those aren't my people. Let's put it this way. I'm Schindler, and the Nazis hate my list, okay?
That's one way to put it.
Thought-provoking. Somebody saw you in Owensboro. Was it Owensboro, Kentucky, a couple of nights ago? How'd that show go?
Every night.
That was the best show. Until the next one.
My worst show is a stone cold motherfucker.
Peter said it was the best show he'd ever seen. That you just slayed.
Yeah, you go to the social media and everybody. I mean, people that really pay attention are raving. This is the most intense band. Jason Hartless on drums and Johnny Big on bass guitar. These guys are the top 1% of musical forces that have ever walked the earth. Our music is so tight. The songs are so exciting, so stimulating. My effervescence on stage is dangerous. I so love the music that the positive spirit is just, it's at a scary, powerful level. So we put our heart and soul into every song, every night, and every night is an absolute firestorm of killer American rhythm and blues and rock and roll right out of the Motor City. So anybody that has a problem with that is probably a Whoopi Goldberg fan. You know what I'm saying?
Well, August the 11th at Freedom Hill, Ted will allegedly say Adios Mofos to the Motor City after all those venues. I mean, we just talked about 20 or 30 of them. There's so many places Ted has played, and the damn Yankees have played, and the Amboy Dukes have played. Ted, is it really Adios Mofo?
Yeah, I'll still make music. I'll do specific gigs, but I've made it perfectly clear I'm not going on tour ever again.
Will you do...
I hate the travel. I mean, I won't stay at a hotel. It's like a jail sentence. It's cruel and unusual punishment. I got 12 grandkids. I got to teach them how to aim small, miss small, and turn critters into family-sized portions. I got dogs that absolutely love me. Shemaine, can you imagine saying goodbye to Shemaine for more than 24 hours? It ain't going to happen.
Will you do 12-year-olds' birthday parties, just to sort of come full circle?
Say that once again.
Will you do 12-year-old girls' birthday parties, though? That would bring it full circle.
Well, it's funny because I played at Marilyn McMillan. She had a pool table downstairs. I think I sat on the pool table.
Wow.
I played Johnny Be Good. I mutilated. I didn't play it very good, but I tried. And plus, I had the rhythm going. And I played a bastardized version of Bo Diddley. And I think I made up some licks that God hasn't authorized yet. But no, nothing has changed. The spirit of adventure, the spirit of uncharted musical horizons that go beyond. I play a Gibson Birdland from Kalamazoo, Michigan. In fact, I play a whole arsenal of them. And the music, plus my guitar tone, oh, my God. I got these miracle ear hearing aids, so now I can really hear all the frequencies. And it's just scary, wonderful, big, fat, greasy barbecue guitar tone. And everybody knows, and people are articulating that in the reviews of the concerts. And between Jason and Johnny and I, plus my crew, I got the best crew in the world. They set up everything so perfectly because it's got to sound right. My PA guy, Frank Szozowski, is the #1 sound man in the world. He's on tour all the time around the world, and he's the #1 respected sound guy, and so he delivers the beast every night. And it's just, I think the best way that I've described it is out of body. It literally is like a martial arts on stage. It's like Jason and Johnny and I look at each other, and the groove is, we try to be the Motown Funk Brothers and James Brown, the Famous Flames, and we accomplish it. And then we go above and beyond that every night. So it still inspires the living hell out of me. But I can't wait for the hunting season, and I can't wait for the hunting season to get longer, and I can't wait to spend more time with my kids and grandkids and dogs.
Well, in light of August 11th, it's so close, just, 9 days away from Ted's final show in the Detroit area. I was looking at the set list, Ted. I saw that you just, out of the clear blue sky, you opened up a show, maybe 3 or 4 shows ago, with Street Fighting Man, which was not on the typical set, and you closed with It's Only Rock and Roll. Are you going to be doing stuff like that throughout? Just throwing this song in and that?
There's a few songs that I'm really pissed off I didn't write. One of them is I Can't Drive 55, and the other one is Street Fighting Man, and It's Only Rock and Roll. I mean, those songs still drive me nuts. We also play the great Grand Funk Railroad American Band. We're an American band before we go on. So you never know. I did a corporate gig with Jack Blades and a bunch of guys out in Las Vegas recently. We played with the singer with Cheap Trick. Robin Zander.
Yeah.
Robin Zander.
He can sing.
What a spirit voice that guy's got. We played Street Fighting Man and The Last Time by the Rolling Stones, and it was like I was on stage at the Mump, 1965. It was awesome.
That is one cool corporate gig. I usually think of corporate gigs as being duds, but Robin Zander and you and Jack Blades?
That's a super group.
That's pretty
Matt
cool.
Sorum, and Matt Sorum and Terry Kelly on guitar. No, it was a musical orgy. I mean, no, and again, it doesn't matter where or how or to who. We get up on stage, and all the guys that I just mentioned, all those guys, they live for the music. and you can tell by the look on their face and the forehead veins popping and the passion that they put into the songs. So I've been spoiled rotten coming from Detroit, being surrounded by the greatest musicians that ever walked the earth. And that Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels inspiration literally drives me every night when I get up on stage. I pretend I'm Jimmy McCarty and it's Johnny Bonangic on drums. I still live that like I was opening up at the Walled Lake Casino in 1962 for Billy Lee and the Reasons, Mark and the Vandellas, and Gene Pitney. That was me at the Walled Lake Casino, 1962.
Well, we go back a long way, too, because you were the first musician that I ever was lucky enough to have play in the studio. You were playing Fred Bear, a song I had never heard of when I came to Detroit, although it was relatively new in 1991. I think it was you and Michael Lutz and Gunnar Ross, and that was so cool to see that in the studio. Absolutely incredible. There's a tape of it somewhere. I hope I can lay my hands on it. But we did lose Gunnar not too long ago, and you know, you and Gunnar and all those guys, Derek St. Holmes, all you guys were so kind to us when we got here, and we really did appreciate that. And I was just very sad to see that Gunnar left us.
Yeah, well, what you witness is what I've been raving about, that everybody I'm surrounded with are just world-class musicians that put all their heart and soul into every lick, every song. And the Fred Bear song was such an emotional song. And do you know, I mean, you might have seen it last year at Freedom Hill and every year at Pine Knob, no matter where we play it, not just Michigan, but all across this country. That song has a life of its own.
It does.
It takes. I'm a pretty strong guy, but it tests my strength to perform that song without breaking down, because everybody's got a Fred Bear. It's not just about Fred. It's about Mike. It's about our buddy Mike. You lose a soulmate like that, and all of a sudden the Fred Bear emotion and the lyrics, you can insert your loved one in there instead of the name Fred Bear, and it's a moving experience. And again, I've had so many. Once again, I'll repeat. Little boys and girls, just 6-year-old, 7-year-old little girl wanted to hear Fred Bear around the campfire before she died.
Wow.
I don't know what else in life compares to that. And when I play it for these people, also teenagers and old guys, they want to hear Fred Bear around a campfire before they die. And I don't cry. I'm strong. And I play, and they cry, and then when they leave, I cry. But to have a piece of music like that, I was with the Delta Force. I got the baddest motherfuckers in the world every night. I got the Army Rangers and Green Berets and Navy SEALs and Delta Force. Every night I have the greatest warriors, and they all talk about two songs. Fred Bear and Stranglehold. Mm-hmm. When they're ready to crush evil, they play Stranglehold. and when they come home to family and they survived a dangerous mission, they play Fred Bear. I get this unsolicited testimonial everywhere. I'm holding a box right now. I'm at the Jackson Airport. I'm holding a box from Delta Force. These are the greatest warriors that ever lived, and they made me a custom guitar strap and sent me a hat. And when I met with them the other night in West Virginia, all they wanted to talk about was Stranglehold, because it's the song that fires them up when they go into battle or a dangerous condition, and the song Fred Bear when they're relieved and they want to come back to earth and back to a calmness, and they play the Fred Bear song. I mean, what a connection. What an amazing relationship those songs provide between me and the best people in the world.
And that song, Stranglehold, is your most streamed song. I bet you don't even look this information up, but I love looking at this stuff. Stranglehold will be coming up on 200 million streams. This is the modern world. This is not all 60-year-olds and those of us, who knew this music growing up. There's a lot of younger people, too. And Fred Bear is your fourth most streamed song, which is incredible because, Ted, didn't you release that yourself? I mean, it seems to me that was a real odd way that thing got out.
Yeah, what Michael and Gunnar and I did in Canton at Pearl Sound was truly mystical, because I was an emotional wreck and I didn't write the song. I just started playing it. and I sang it. I didn't write anything down. And I called Michael, and I was hyperventilating. And I said, we got to get in the studio and capture something's happening real powerful with this piece of music I'm just unleashing. And Gunnar didn't know who Fred Bear was, and I don't think Mike knew who Fred Bear was, but they could tell how hurt I was, but how emotional I was. And Gunnar and Michael nailed it. I only recorded it, quickly in an afternoon just to capture it. But what we captured is what was on what everybody ended up hearing. I made a couple of cassettes for Fred's widow, Henrietta, and a few of our old hunting buddies, the chief of police, Frank Mitchell in Detroit, who was a great Fred Bear fan, and a bunch of bow hunting buddies. I think I made 4 or 5 cassettes. I had no idea what was going to happen. I just knew that those that loved Fred Bear would understand that I captured our hurt and our love for the man. And then Podell got a hold of it, and he thought it was a song called Fred the Bear. and he played it. But because the song is so real, so musical and human, that the phones lit up, and it's been the #1 requested song in Michigan since that day in 1989 or whatever it was.
Amazing.
And when we play it, and it's out of body, man. And same Pennsylvania, because that's where Fred was born. And all around the country, there are conservation families that they cling to that song. And there's not a pickup truck in America that isn't playing the Fred Bear song on October 1st. I promise you that.
Where did that little bit of audio of Fred towards the end of the song? There's a little piece of Fred talking. Where'd that come from?
That's a Kurt Gowdy and Fred Bear LP, an album that was called Hunting Stories with Fred Bear and Kurt Gowdy.
Kurt Gowdy, really?
And we just decided in the studio that day that as I was, ad-libbing at the end, kind of talking to Fred, that somebody said, isn't there a Fred's voice somewhere we can... And I said, yeah, there's an album with Kurt Gowdy talking about hunting stories. And we pulled it off of there. Ben at Pearl Sound, I don't know how they do it technologically, but they were able to pull that Fred voice off that. And when that happens on that record, we play that audio at every concert in that same location of the song. So Fred's voice is still alive and well. It says, just like I think, Drew and Mike, I think in the wind, Mike is still alive.
I agree.
And that's what that says.
No, we feel him all the time, and it's not just the audio that we have, or a lot of the old bits, but his spirit is definitely here. And Ted, I can't believe it's Adios Mofos, but I know there'll be something that comes up. There'll be a charity thing or something for some people you'll want to help, and they'll need a lot of help, and therefore it'll be at a bigger venue, and people will be going to see you again somewhere down the road.
I guarantee it, yeah. But I got these great musicians. We do these Ted Nugent speakeasies in Texas all the time. We just show up at a place and take over, and we start playing my song. It turns into an old-fashioned, shit-kicker, roustabout rock and roll club thing, and it's just a riot. It's timeless. It's the origins of all this powerful music that moves us in our lives, the rhythm and blues, rock and roll gospel that came from those black heroes. And even whether it's Freedom Hill or it doesn't matter where I play, at a little speakeasy, there's a couple hundred people. It's real, man. It has a life of its own. My guitar has horns, man. And when I grab that prick, fire happens. I just love every minute of it.
Well, August 11th we'll have to do for now at Freedom Hill. Ted, it's so nice to talk to you again. I know I hope we'll talk again. I mean, this doesn't mean the end of doing interviews. I know that much.
Yeah, sure. I've always got something to say, piss off some goofball, so I'd be more than happy to share it with you.
Thanks, Ted. Have a great show tonight, tomorrow, every night, and August the 11th especially.
All right, back at you, Drew. I love you, buddy. Thank you, Mark, Trudy, Brad, everybody there. God bless the Motor City, man. Live it up.
Thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, man. Last time we talked to Ted, I actually listened to the interview. I thought it was a really good interview. And I listened to it afterwards. And I was thinking, so many words come out of his mouth at once. Do they all really make as much sense as I think they do?
Yeah, they do.
And they do.
I don't know how he does it.
I don't either. No, he really. It's amazing the way when he gets on a roll of adjectives, for example, and they all kind of fit, and they do.
It's very picturesque too. I mean, you can't not know what he's talking about.
And
So, and especially when he's talking about music.
Oh yeah. And when last time he was on, it was right after he had said that those kids are soulless, and it was mostly David Hogg he was referring to, I believe.
Yeah.
And maybe his little sister, but anyway, I think we were asked. I think they actually called us and said, Ted's coming around, and I believe that a few of the usual people were not. I think they were choosing to. I think we're going to pass on that because Ted's very controversial, and I call these kids soulless, and that was really mean. So, and I was like, we cannot. That's ridiculous. And Ted says things that piss people off. Of course he does. Sure. But I still think he's a great voice. He's a powerful voice, and I think he generally means well.
He's a wealth of information about local places that used to exist that no longer. That amazes me. How many ballrooms and stages there were back there on the east side? A lot of them. There are only a few now. That's
I was very
kind of a
miffed
shame.
because his Setlist FM doesn't start sooner. If they went back to 1967, we could name so many places and venues he played. Well, of course, he names them anyway, so you don't really need Setlist FM.
Right.
But, wow, that's great. I appreciate Ted taking some time for us. And again, the show is August the 11th. That's a Friday night, too.
Yeah.
At Freedom Hill.
That's the best part.
So that place will be rocking. Who's opening for Ted? Do we know does he have a regular opener?
I don't even know.
I mean, not that he needs one.
No, really. He could.
Technically,
do
it is the
TED
Michigan
Talk.
Lottery Amphitheatre.
Ah, yes, of course.
Really?
I don't mind giving people
I
their
never
credit.
call it that. But
It'll always be DTE Energy, right?
Well, that's Pine Knob.
I know it.
yeah. So
Now,
anyway,
as far as what's really important here on the show today, yesterday was a historical day on a number of fronts. One of them being that there is a new queef queen in Europe. And is her name Fables?
Yeah, that's what I believe it is. I've never heard of this person. This was sent to me by a boner liner, 209-66 boner. I appreciate it.
Well, it's interesting when people, do this on another continent. It always takes a little time, even nowadays, before it gets here, or we really feel the full effect of. Even a professional queefist like Fables.
And she's new to the game. She's only got 10,000, maybe 11,000 followers on TikTok, so she's building up her queef repertoire right now so she can attract more followers. And you're right, Fables 2. Fables 2 is her name, and she's from the UK.
I got a question. This is really weird. I feel I'm going to creep somebody out, or maybe a lot of people out. Can queefs really stink bad? Does anybody know?
I imagine that they have an odor.
it depends on the vessel it's moving through, and whether there's a problem there.
Yes, but I imagine in some cases
Sorry to get bio on
there
you.
would be a problem.
Hey, Google, can queef stink really bad?
They should have that
sorry,
like-
I have an Apple. Hey, Siri, can queef smell really bad?
See, that question should be in the.
How to respond to that?
I don't blame you.
That should be in the commercial. Should that be in the commercial with the old man?
Yeah.
Instead of Loretta, hey, Google, can Loretta's queef smell?
No, Loretta's queefs do not smell really
I bet
bad.
you they do now.
Photos of me and Loretta.
Oh God, I forgot that.
What?
Yes, you're correct, Mark. They smell worse now.
Thank you.
Anyway, this is quite a setup for Fables. And now in Fables, I want to say this: we don't see Lara was our first queefist, correct?
No, Lara.
Wait, no, Lara's.
Lara, she farts.
She's a farter. She's a fartiste. I'm sorry.
It's coming out that.
Yeah, you get the
other space.
The spaces mixed up. Who's the first queefist we had?
Oh God, what did she have a name?
Queefy D.
Well, yeah, she did. We put her up on YouTube. She got a lot of views too. Yeah, she wasn't.
Oh, I'm trying to.
How dare you
Just
forget
that
the
queefing
name
bitch.
of a queef artist?
But her face was visible. She
Right.
didn't. She was not afraid to show her face.
Yeah, and in fact, that one did a lot more crazier things on the internet too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, she's the one that had the glasses.
Correct.
And she was cute.
Chat now? I was looking to see if the chat knew.
Somebody will know.
All right. Well,
I honestly, I can't think of her name, but she was. Yeah, it turned out she was. This is really stupid to say, but she was. a lot skankier than I anticipated. I thought she was someone who just was a relatively normal person who just happened to be able to queef on command.
Right.
And she was cool enough to share it with the world. But it turns out, actually, she seems very hungry for attention.
Well,
and she also was doing a lot of things on OnlyFans that might surprise people. And she liked smelling things when she put them in there. There was just some stuff that was.
We didn't even go down that rabbit hole. What happened was we just played her queefs, and then what happened was
other people
on the
found
boner
out.
line and on our email, we just started getting bombarded with, "Have you seen her do this?"
There it is, Stinky
Stinky
Lily.
Lily. Thank you.
Stinky Lily. Thank you so much.
It's a cat toy.
Very good.
Great job.
Did anybody else? Wait, Queen Laqueefy? No, that's not
a
it,
good
Mike.
one. That's a good one, though.
Chris Eric says, Lila, no.
No, I think it's because he saw her. He
saw
on my
Lila.
lap,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, you want to take a look at the UK fables?
Yeah, let's see. It's
too?
kind of weird not seeing her head. It seems very impersonal,
You
doesn't
don't
it?
see her face in any of these videos. You just hear the content.
Oh, God.
Oh. That thing's making noise from deep somewhere.
It's so baritone.
Dug that out.
Oh.
That's coming from the depths.
I think those ones do smell.
Oh, boy.
It's pretty good meat.
See, I could not mistake that for a fart.
Make a sound.
Something about that smell, and I felt the same with Stinky Lily. Was I could if I was in a room and I just heard that sound, I go, "That's a queef. That's not a fart." There was just something about it that was different. But now she's on a motorcycle queefing. Oh, she's revving the motorcycle as she queefs. How cute!
She's using props with her queefs. Check this out.
This is adorable.
Come on. Oh, God, that one was wet. All right, we can let's see this one. She's in her car.
She's quite creative, but she's still not showing her face. Sounds like she's counting something.
Oh,
Queefs.
you can hear it going in.
Well, methane has that.
It's breathing.
It is breathing. It is breathing.
It is breathing.
It's just some.
Well, it's isn't it a life force for a woman or so? How did I say that again? A woman is just a
A vessel?
an old joke.
Oh, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
That old joke. Oh. Okay.
It sounds like it's talking
First comment, why can I hear it inhaling?
Yeah.
because she's inhaling through her vagina.
Yeah.
Mike wants to know if it left queef marks.
Oh, this one has got
By the way,
product placement.
that last set was really phoned in. She just wanted to post something and get some views. That was phoned in.
This
I'm
one
not
has product
accepting that.
placement, Drew. I see McDonald's.
Oh, how adorable. Oh. See, this is not phoned in.
So is McDonald's into the fact that she's endorsing their product? Like
Yeah.
this?
I mean, she tagged him.
She said, this is her description of this video. McQueefin. Hashtag McDonald's Queef Queen. Queef Talk. Queefs.
Order queefer with
Queen of the Queefs.
These are not phoned in.
Whoa.
Somebody trying to start a car. She's trying to
like
start her vagina.
Sounds like a bear snoring.
Or a chainsaw or something. God. It's so deep, though. It really is.
Ryan says, that thing has sleep apnea. Very good.
Oh. Yeah, it does sound like it has sleep apnea.
Ooh.
Get that vagina a CPAP.
Why is it grosser when I think the vagina is breathing? It does sound like snoring now.
It's very rhythmic.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, she gets in a rhythm, a queef rhythm, and that's really powerful.
She has quite a bit of videos on here.
You know what, though? Juicy Lara, I think she goes out of her way to make it a little more entertaining and
Yeah.
to do different things with it.
Right.
Yeah, you're
She
right.
goes in stores and she opens tops and farts in something and closes it back up.
Yeah. And
Well, speaking of Laura Juicy TV, she has some new farts. You want to check those out?
Yeah, we check out a few. I don't want people to accuse us of being prurient.
Well, this one here actually has a
We're so
strike
past
against
that.
it. This one here has a warning. Participating in this activity could result in you or others getting hurt. Let's see what it is.
What?
She's on a chair.
Oh, because she's standing on a chair and then farting in the microwave.
What was that, just for the sound? Just because microwave would have a different echo?
That and the fact that somebody's going to put something in there next.
Oh, of course. Duh.
Right.
Which would be her, I would think.
You never know.
She jumped and farted midair.
And put out a candle.
That was really cute.
Let's see. It looks like she's on vacation. Let's see. Oh, she found something. It's got a fart in it.
As you bring some decorative thing home, and of course, immediately Juicy Lara has to fart in it.
What's she doing with a cash register? I bet you she farts in that.
Oh, boy. She waved the air down into the cash register.
Looks like she found another pipe.
Okay. She looks like a funny girl. I don't. Wait. Wait. Did they fart at each other through on different ends of the tube?
Oh, they
Is that
did?
what happened?
I think she farted into that other girl's ass.
Oh, they did.
The other girl breathed it in.
Oh no, it was an answering fart.
It was.
It's like
She is so delighted with herself.
That's how they collide the particles in that.
Look at Lara when she comes up to turn it off. She can't wait to watch this. Who's her creepy friend? These girls are both cute.
no, it's like when you used to have like the
She's so. I love that she still loves her work after all these farts.
She's an
She
artist.
still loves her work. Oh no.
mini fridge.
Oh, she farted in a public mini
I
fridge.
have to admit that would look pretty weird when a customer comes in and turns their ass towards the fridge after they open it up. Oh, what's going on? She's in a hurry. Oh, into her mug.
Oh,
Is that Lara?
Yeah.
this
She
is
looks
Lara-
different,
yeah.
doesn't she?
Lara
She's not
Juicy
wearing
TV.
makeup or
Why you
something?
look different?
Yeah, why do you look different?
And remember,
I wanna
she's
be
been
first.
using props lately, like the megaphone.
Oh, yeah, she's on a, what is that, a skateboard?
That's one of those wiggle boards.
She comes up to the camera with a megaphone.
Wow, that's
and
so
turns it
expertly
on.
timed.
That is really good.
Whoa.
There's people who make a living doing this, whether it's queefing or farting. I don't
How
get it.
many followers does Lara have now?
Oh, she's up to 225,000.
Can you check out the one where she leaps in the air? See that one at the top row?
Rip me out the plastic, I've been acting brand new.
She actually farts before she jumps in the air, though.
Rip me out the
Her timing's
plastic, I've
off.
been acting brand new.
See what I mean? Can she work on that?
Plastic, I've been acting
What?
brand new.
Sure.
What can I get for you?
Oh, she's at the drive-in.
So you want a number 2?
That seems staged, but it's funny.
So you want a number 2?
You want to
A
know?
number 2.
Laura Juicy
Adorable.
TV.
All right. It's not playtime. We'll get into the real show.
It's not? Oh, okay. But we got to get serious because it's the bricklayers
We
and
have to get
allied
we
craft
have to get
workers.
serious. This is really terrible that we would show